Hey there, comic friends. I'm Travis, and it's Talking Comics. We're going to talk some comics. These are for comics for the week of June 18th, 2025. In no particular order. I happen to have a week where my comics came in when they're supposed to. I'm going to quit mentioning whether or not I think my comics are coming on time, because if I act like, oh yeah, it's not going to be a problem, then something happens in that week's where the comics get all messed up, and so then I get off track from talking about books. And that's what I'm here for. Talk about some books. So, like I said, no particular order. We're going to start off with Zatanna, issue number 5. I'm still enjoying this. I love the art. The art by Campbell. Campbell does the entire thing, basically. It's enjoyable. There's some fun fourth wall breaking here, where literally you see the comic page, the raw comic page, and Z's walking across it. It's got her on it, having a battle that she's trying to avoid. So some fun, some cool magic there. And I quite enjoyed that. Story-wise, of course, the next issue is going to be the last issue. So she's kind of getting it all figured out, what she's going to do. So, in the next issue, she can get herself out of the hot water that she is in. But like I said, those pages where she is escaping her own. Yeah, there's a couple pages of her on Raw pages. I wonder if he works with physical pencils. Anyway, that's fun though, that she gets there, runs across the page, and then dives in. Briefly talks to us about it too. So I mean, it's literally, thanks for reading. Bye. So it literally, breaks the fourth wall of the comic. It was fun. I enjoyed that as a piece of magic, as a way to get around the story that's being told and the battle that she does not want to get herself engaged in. So it was some pretty good stuff as far as that goes. So it's pretty entertaining. All right. One more issue of that. Bug Wars issue number 5. I'm not sure I'm supposed to make of the end of the book. There's a big surprise at the end. A big reveal towards the end of the book that I'm like, okay. Is our main character hallucinating? I mean, because we saw other stuff where there's a corpse. I mean, there's a dead person. And other family members are messed up because of said dead person. Did they die one place and not both places? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how we're supposed to take that part. So that part I'm really close about. Absolutely love the art in this. Ahmad Ashur does such a great job. He just really makes some interesting characters. Some really great choices. This kind of fantasy bug world has been really cool. And as usual, I'm curious to see where it's going to go. The next issue, I think, is the last issue of this arc. And then, who knows how long of a break and, whether we come back to it or not. I'm assuming that's going to be based largely on sales and how that all works out and whatnot. Got to be able to pay the artist and everybody. Yeah, it's enjoyable. It's cool. It's really cool. It's largely cool to look at. I mean, the writing is good by Jason Aaron. It just looks really cool all the way along through it. Whatnot, really dynamic. From Mad Cave, we have Vanishing Point. This is a Mark Russell book. It's an anthology book by Mark Russell writing it. Each issue has a different artist on it, and it's a story unconnected to the other stories, other than they're all kind of dark future stories. This one's pretty grim. When I say dark, that's what I mean. It's grim stuff. It's not. It is. Looks into the future that feel very much like this could really be something that happens, and none of it is a positive utopia in any shape or form. This issue is particularly fun. It's basically a kind of a riff on the Jetsons through most of it, with the Jetsons having this extra character. You see the kid with the eye patch. In the show, and then the reality of that is all interesting and intriguing. The next issue, I'm hoping I order this. I feel like this was something that I kind of like forget that I was getting, or inconsistently showed up for me to order. I'm hoping I didn't miss the next issue. The next issue's got Alberto Petrocelli doing art, and I just anytime I can pick up comic books by him, I want to. Artistically, I really like Mark Russell. I think these issues also feel like, or at least this issue also feels like Mark Russell's dark humor put into story form. Yeah. So if you like that thing, it's fun. It's also depressing. Current climates and whatnot. And oof, that's the future. Serious bummer. Next up, we have Exquisite Corpse issue number 2. This is kind of the battle royale of a bunch of powerful families that, for ever since the beginning of America, basically, they've been having this battle every so many years. They pick a fighter, they mark off an area, and everybody has to stay with that. And whoever's fighter wins at the end ends up controlling then how the world is going to work, how America is going to work for the next X number of years until the next battle royale. And in the first issue, we got basically kind of, to some degree, we got a montage of all the crazy people who are going to be in this area that's fighting, and we get a little bit of a view of the people who live in said town. Some trick-or-treaters, some people taking the kids trick-or-treating, ambulance driver, a sheriff who's leaving town, who's basically sold out the town to make it this battle place. And we get a sampling of some of the powerful families that are running this whole thing. This issue, the fight has started. Well, last issue, the fight actually started. Here we're starting to pick up the pieces. We see some side betting and conversations going on amongst the powerful people. They're not all just chill with how this whole thing works out. So there's some really potentially interesting stuff going on there. I'm interested to see what that is. And these different people playing for power. Clearly, some of the players in the actual battle itself are complete and utter psychopaths. You'd have to be to just be basically murdering a town and murdering all the people and murdering the other people that are you need to take out. Kind of a deal. I don't think they really technically need to murder everybody in the place. It's just everybody else's collateral damage. It doesn't really matter. So we get a psycho with a knife, a little box cutter. Doesn't work real great. Takes a while, and then we get some other people involved. I had saw some pretty scathing opinions about issue number 2, and so when I was apprehensive to read it because how badly some people were saying this was comparison to issue 1. There was nothing here, blah, blah, blah. I think they're wholesale wrong. Issue 1 was more fun just because it's kind of wild splash of all these characters. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of what does it all mean? What's it about? What's going on? And I'm interested in that. I'm interested in that aspect. I'm not just interested in the battle royale moments of it. For me, there has to be more. Otherwise, it's just a fight game. And I can play a fight game. Don't need to read one. So, yeah, I'm interested. Interested to see what's going on with the inner workings of that whole craziness. Next up, we have Catwoman, issue number 77. Rough landing. We've gotten a huge background. When I got back on the book, we've been getting this big background of Celine's time in Europe. We kind of caught up. We're in the now of her past, trying to wreak revenge on her. And we'll kind of see what happens. Everything kind of comes to a head. It seems like she supposedly has a plan, and maybe she doesn't really have a plan. You know how that Celine thing goes. It's been enjoyable. Torin, I always have a struggle to say her last name. That's why I jumped on the book. Lovely woman. Want to see what she's going to do with, I should learn not to do that, right? Because then that just makes my camera go bonkers for a while. I should learn not to do that. But anyway, I've been enjoying it so far. I mean, I like Catwoman, so I'm always looking forward to. Oh, come on, camera. Well, anyway, no edit, Travis, yay. But I always like the character, and so I'm always interested when she's got her own run of the book. I was on this for a while. I didn't care the direction it was going with a certain creative team, so I jumped off the book. New creative team came on the book. I kind of missed that part, but I want to jump back on the book, and of course, I love the covers. I think this is a Sebastian cover still, the Futurama cover. I'm gonna kill a few moments while I'm waiting for my camera to hopefully focus in, which it's not gonna. I've borked it. I should know better than to do that. Really kind of angry with myself over having done that. Looking to see who did the cover art just to make sure. Yeah. Sebastian Futurama. Like those brothers, those Argentine brothers. I don't think my camera's going to go. Maybe cutting this short, or it's going to be more podcasty because you're not going to see what the hell I'm talking about other than it looking blurry. At least I hope it's blurry. It's not my eyes. Suddenly have gone bonkers. Oh, this is going to be awesome. New Gods, issue number 7. I don't know if I can do this. At any rate, New Gods, issue number 7. Really, really liked issue number 6. Wish I could have talked about it. So this issue felt more like, okay, we need to cement it back into the DC universe proper. So it's got the Justice League in it as the New Gods come crashing down on Earth, and we get the whole kind of immigrant, but they aren't just immigrants because clearly they're new gods. The government's going to take them over because who's housing them? We're the one that's probably going to have to house them, so we're in control. And some potential fight goes on there. Still really enjoyable, but this issue in particular wasn't as gripping. This felt like a transitional issue to what's coming next. In the background, there's some moments of Wonder Woman, like talking to Barda and Barda's child and Scott Free's child. And I kind of now want a comic book that's Barda and Wonder Woman and their babies. That interests me. I think that would be fun. But there's some good moments in this. But not as either intriguing or thought-provoking as some of the prior issues have been. So I'm looking forward to the next issue still, because as a whole, this has been just a brilliant run, gorgeous art, smart writing. Yeah. Boy, this is terrible. I'm going to shut this off and start it back up and see if that helps. Alrighty, we're back. We've got a camera. That was terrible. Hopefully this all works being spliced together. I don't do much in the way of editing anymore, so I'm not smart enough to do all that, but we'll see. Phantom Road, issue number, 13? This just continues to be a really cool book. Love the Gabriel Walta art with Jody Belair doing the coloring on it. Just really intrigued. We're still seeing the backstory of kind of how our main character's father got involved in this. What's up with the guy with the Hawaiian shirt? How deeply messed up this whole thing is. We see an egg and that whole thing, and now we're going through that again in the current times. So what's gonna happen? I don't know, but yeah, it's just been nothing but interesting. This arc has been really cool. Kind of, like I said, telling some of the stuff that's happened to give us a better idea as best they can what potentially is going on now. We get a little more lore in this, but it's also strange. It's not like it's, common knowledge sort of stuff. And so it's just interesting seeing little bits and pieces of the stuff that have to do with the Billy Burgers and all of that kind of nonsense that's going on in it. That just makes it really interesting. There's some people in power that are kind of trying to manipulate stuff, and we're just not sure what that manipulation is. So interesting, all the same. And I think we're getting to see the trauma of our main character from her past. Way more involved than what I think we were led to believe to begin with. I think we pretty much felt the trauma was just the disappearance of her father. Now it clearly encapsulates more than that. So all good stuff from Phantom Road. Ha! Next up, we have Wonder Woman issue number 22. Guest artist on this issue, Caitlin Yarsky does this. It is giant mice and mouse man attacking the Capitol. We find out per orders from Sovereign. We're getting more backstory here. This is a backstory thing before anybody had a clue who Sovereign was and whatnot. To set up the next actual arc of the book. If we remember correctly, before we had the 2 issues with Batman up in Olympus, she was going to like Mouse Island or some sort of thing, and there was some sinisterness about that. Whereas we potentially get the backstory to that here. We'll see. This felt very fun and kind of goofy. It was largely kind of, I think, Steve Trevor wakes up from first evening with Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's gone, leaving a note saying, hey, here's your clothes and there's coffee or whatever. And I'm off to fight a mice problem in the Capitol. And then you get there and there's these giant mice that she has to battle. And he shows up and they're kind of awkward together and cute, as to be expected. But I think this just kind of gives us a backstory and whatnot. I feel like if I'm looking at this from an industry type of a book, that these books have been, don't like to use the word filler because it's kind of got a bad connotation to it. But these are books to give, I think, our main artist on the book a running chance or a break before he has to be back to doing the book. It feels like next issue, I think, gets back into the thick of the whole Sovereign thing and clearing the rest of that up, I believe. So, yeah, I'm still really enjoying Wonder Woman. I think Tom King's voice for Wonder Woman is really good. I quite enjoy it. And as always, looking forward to more. Detective Comics, issue number 1098. We're off in a foreign country, trying to save Bullock, and ultimately we end up saving Penguin in the process. Some entertaining stuff there. Nothing super special going on in Detective Comics right now, but it's an enjoyable read. It's an enjoyable Batman book. Not bending or breaking anything necessarily, but still telling a really enjoyable Batman story. If you dig Batman, I can't see how this would be a bad book for you. I like Batman and I like Detective Comics, so I'm enjoying it. Interested to see what's next, how this plays out. This person that's doing the stuff that's going on, this People of Eternity. Some really bad stuff looks like it happens at the end of this issue. I don't know if that'll, clearly that's not going to play out. I hope it's not going to play out. I shouldn't say that. Alfred's dead. And I was kind of like, oh, there's Alfred's dead. How are they going to bring him back? And they haven't yet, which is pretty tragic in my mind. So hopefully they aren't acing any other characters permanently. That would be terrible. It's a bad call. The comic can grow or not grow, whether you get rid of entertaining secondary characters or not, right? So, anyway, another Batman book, Batman and Robin, Year 1, issue number 8. The things are starting to come together. The relationship between Bruce and Dick is probably the best part of the book, beyond just the amazing art by Chris Samney. It really is a Chris Samney-driven book. Mark Waid's just there to kind of put the pieces together, I think. So it makes it quite enjoyable of a read. Yeah, we'll see with this new crime family exactly how that plays out and whatnot. We do a tangle with this other weird version of Clayface. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it. The art just makes it so good. The Samney art. Keep him on more books for sure. And finally this week, not terribly exciting week, heavy on superheroes, is Krypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, issue number 1. Written by Ryan North, Mike Norton on doing the line work, and Ian Herring, I believe, on colors with this Jaw cover. I think is the cover for all of these books is the main cover. Absolutely loved this book. I'm not a huge Superman fan. Take him or leave him. I don't pick up Superman books unless I feel like somebody special is doing something special. Otherwise, I don't partake, and I don't know if that's a character flaw, whatever you want to call it. I'm just generally not as interested in Superman. Love the character. I love it when he's in comics that I am in. Just on the long run, I don't know. Rarely is it written in a way that Clark actually interests me by himself. Clark with Bruce, I find extremely interesting. I find their relationship interesting. So whichever comic book that's going to be in, I find that kind of stuff interesting. But lots of Superman lore I don't particularly find interesting. I just don't. I don't care. I probably in the last 5 or 6 years, I have bought quite a few Superman comics as new writers try to take the book to see what goes on and whatnot. Prior to that, I probably owned 4 Superman comic books in my entire comic book collection. And some of them are written by Grant Morrison or some of those people, Alan Moore, and they have less to do with Superman. They have to do with the stuff around him. Anyway, back to this book. Absolutely loved this book. Ryan does such an awesome job of writing a book from the dog's perspective, because it's we're not seeing necessarily through Krypto's eyes. We're a bug on the wall, but we're clearly seeing the world as Krypto sees the world. So it's in the days. It starts out in the days where the planet is starting to shake and break up. Superman's parents are concerned. Superman's parents are concerned about the fact that the rest of the scientists aren't. Are you kidding me? The rest of the scientists aren't concerned with very distracted. The rest of the scientists aren't concerned with the quakes that are going on, and they're having a conversation, and I really can't show you what I want to show you because this dang thing is going to be terribly out of focus. Anyway, they're talking. The great thing about this is the lettering. They're talking. All of the lettering is fainter. It came back. All the lettering is fainter while they're talking around Krypto, except for words like Krypto, good boy, things like that are what pop up. Because the dog it's all kind of noise, right? But they're letting us read so we know what's going on. But then there's these key words that mean everything to, that mean stuff to Krypto. So Krypto catches that stuff and understands that stuff. And he's like I said, he's just a good boy. And they decide that they need to do some. They decide they need to do some testing. They do some rocket tests, and they decide they need a live test. So they send Krypto, and then wormholes ensue, and Krypto ends up on Earth and ends up with a surprising somebody. I don't know. Do we know a ton of origins about Krypto? I have no idea if we do or not. I'm thinking largely we don't, but I could be wrong on that. Like I said, I'm not a Superman aficionado, but I absolutely love this first issue. I thought it was really smart, really well done. Curious to see what the next issue is going to be, especially with who he connects with, because it's not Clark. Yeah, I'm just intrigued. It was a fun from a dog perspective type of a story, with just some enjoyable stuff, and Mike Norton's art's really smart too. So yeah, that's it. I'm done with this and the terrible, horrible focusing camera, whatnot. I don't know what the heck's up with that today. As per usual, nothing goes as planned, right? Hope you're all having a great one, and I'm gonna say it. My comic books are supposed to be here tomorrow on Monday, so that means hopefully I should be able to have them read, and I'll be able to talk about them next week. And maybe I'll start putting together some better thoughts, so I'm a little more interesting to listen to than just, I liked that. Yeah, thanks all.